That's my take on it. I feel like for the most part, I've been very classy. I might not have always been classy, but I have been trying to be classy about the situation. And I just want him to give me that same respect too. He doesn't have to, but it would be nice. And I think the bigger picture here is there is a child in this situation.
This is a message to Gypsy Rose regarding her explanation, manipulation of her comment. Gypsy, let me explain it in terms that only a sociopath will understand. Imagine if Ken cheated on you with his ex-girlfriend, had a kid, and then had the audacity to tell you how you can and cannot heal. You destroyed his life. Ken has destroyed your life, and he has the audacity to tell you what to do. Do you understand? Ken has in front of the entire world. He still doesn't have the respect for you to let you go. He's constantly checking your social media, and he believes he has every right to comment on your next move. You're going through trauma, but you wouldn't understand that, Gypsy, because you've never been through trauma. You also have never healed. You said you were healing. You are the same person that went in for a slap on the wrist for 8 years for first-degree murder, framing somebody to do your dirty work. Leave Ryan alone. Go.
What happens when the world's most famous survivor turned celebrity begins to lose control of the narrative she spent years crafting? Gypsy Rose Blanchard, once the symbol of rebirth and resilience, is now caught in a whirlwind of questionable actions and controversies. From silencing her critics by disabling comments, to flaunting tattoos with chilling undertones, and navigating a relationship with Ken Urker that seems more strained than solid. The cracks in her carefully curated image are beginning to show. But is it all just malice, as Gypsy claims? Or are we finally seeing the real Gypsy Rose emerge? One who struggles to reconcile her dark past with the public persona she so desperately wants to maintain. Let's dissect the statements she made and uncover the truth behind the facade. What we found is more shocking than anything she's willing to admit. Gypsy Rose Blanchard addressed why she turned off the comments during her live stream. I mean, I feel like I understand that I have a super big platform and a huge following, and I appreciate everybody's support. But there are comment filters for a reason, and even some celebrities turn off their comments whenever it gets to a point where you feel like, hey, this is my channel, this is my platform, this is my profile, and I don't feel like I should be bullied or harassed or degraded on it. I feel like everybody should share their opinion, but I just kind of feel like, hey, it's not good for someone's mental health, and I turn them off for my mental health.
Why are my comments off my socials? Like, my comments are turned off? Yeah. I mean, I feel like I understand that, like, I have a super big platform and, like, a huge following, and I appreciate, you know, everybody's support. But there are comment filters for a reason, and even some celebrities turn off their comments whenever it gets to a point that you kind of feel like, hey, this is my channel, this is my platform, this is my profile, and I don't feel like I should be bullied or harassed or degraded on it. I feel like everybody should share their opinion, but I just kind of feel like, hey, that's not good for someone's mental health, and I turn them off for my mental health. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Now, this sounds thoughtful, but let's not overlook some glaring issues here. Gypsy's sudden move to disable comments comes after years of highly controlled engagement across platforms like TikTok and Instagram. These platforms are suspiciously filled with overly positive generic comments that lacked the natural flow of real user interaction. Were these bots keeping negativity out? Possibly. Now that the comments are off entirely, it raises questions. Did her access to these bots end? Or is this a strategic way to dodge growing criticism as her carefully curated image starts to crack? While she claims it's for her mental health, we can't ignore the fact that the public figures inevitably face criticism. Second, while she claims it's for her mental health, we can't ignore the fact that the public figures inevitably face criticism. Turning off comments doesn't eliminate criticism. It just avoids it in a public forum. For someone with her history, transparency is key to rebuilding trust. And instead of disabling comments, she could have addressed the concerns raised and implemented comment filters that block genuinely harmful content while allowing constructive feedback. Gypsy claiming mental health as a reason for disabling comments feels more like an excuse than the full truth. Mental health is important, but shouldn't part of maintaining that involve confronting your audience openly? Turning off comments entirely just looks like you are avoiding accountability. People aren't criticizing out of malice. They're asking questions you need to answer. Public engagement comes with the territory when you have a platform of your size, and selectively silencing it doesn't inspire confidence in your sincerity. During the live stream, Gypsy said this about her tattoo. "Well, my back tattoo is a phoenix. My cousin Bobby did it for me. The phoenix has a meaning. If anybody follows mythology and stuff, the phoenix is a representation of rebirth. One has to burn and then be reborn from the ashes, and that's what the phoenix does. I thought that was a great representation of what I have been through and the struggles I have had to go through. I just really kind of wanted to represent that somewhere on my body."
Tell us about your back tattoo. Well, my back tattoo is of a phoenix. My cousin Bobby did it for me. The phoenix has a meaning. If anybody follows like mythology and stuff, the phoenix is a representation of like rebirth. So one has to burn and then be reborn from the ashes, and that's what a phoenix does. So I thought that it was a great representation of like what I've been through and the struggles that I've had to go through. So I just really kind of wanted to represent that somewhere on my body. So
this explanation paints the tattoo as a deeply personal symbol of growth and triumph. But let's break it down. First, the phoenix tattoo isn't just a neutral symbol of rebirth. It's directly tied to her personal story. Her rebirth came in the aftermath of one of the most notorious cases of maternal abuse and eventual matricide. The tattoo acts as a permanent marker of the events that ended her mother's life and reshape her own story. While Gypsy emphasizes the phoenix as a sign of overcoming struggles, we can't ignore that the struggles she refers to include the events leading up to her mother's death. Second, we can't overlook the chilling details of her other tattoo. The flatlining heartbeat with Didi. That tattoo only alludes to her mother, but seems to celebrate her demise. Pairing these tattoos together creates an uncomfortable narrative, one that seems to glorify a tragedy rather than reflect on it with nose and remorse. Gypsy, the phoenix tattoo might represent rebirth, but let's be honest, what exactly is it a rebirth from? The act of ending your mother's life? That's a part of your story you can't gloss over with poetic symbolism. The tattoo doesn't tell your story. The tattoo doesn't tell your story. It locks it in permanently, making it impossible to separate the idea of your personal triumph. The tattoo doesn't tell your story. It locks it in permanently, making it impossible to separate the idea of your personal triumph from the tragedy that enabled it. And the tattoo of Didi's heartbeat flatlining, that's not just a symbol of the past. It's a reminder of your darkest moment, one that's hard to reconcile with the idea of growth. You claim these tattoos represent strength, but they also scream unresolved trauma. Without addressing this deeper context, your audience is left wondering, is this rebirth or just a reminder of destruction? Here's what Gypsy Rose Blanchard said about her online interactions during the live stream. "I think people forget that I am human too. Like, I see everything that's posted about me, and I do my best to stay positive, but sometimes I feel like I have to respond. When people lie about me or twist things, I think it's only fair to clear the air. I don't think it's wrong to defend myself when others are trying to ruin your reputation."
and people praise that and people are okay with that, but I can't even shoot one shot at him at all. And I'm like, I get it in one sense, and then another sense, like, y'all don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Y'all don't know what I have dealt with this man over the last year. That's private, and that remains between us. So
at face value, it seems reasonable. Defending oneself is a natural reaction. But let's take a closer look at her behavior in context. Gypsy hasn't just been defending herself. There have been reports of her allegedly using her platform to harass critics and manipulate narratives. Take her public comments about Ryan, where she allegedly tried to discredit him and portray him as someone exploiting her name for clout. or her supposed interactions with accounts involved in racially charged attacks on Nina, another content creator. Even if she didn't initiate these actions, her engagement with such content through comments, replies, or likes raises serious questions about her intentions. Gypsy, saying you were defending yourself doesn't justify targeting critiques or engaging with harmful content. Your actions, whether it's discrediting Ryan or interacting with racially charged accounts, don't align with the idea of staying positive. Instead, it looks like you're actively fueling division and conflict. If you're claiming the moral high ground, you need to lead by example. Stop silencing critics and start addressing concerns constructively. Weaponizing your platform against others only undermines your credibility and reinforces the idea that you can't take accountability. Gypsy Rose Blanchard addressed her relationship with Ken in the live stream, saying, "Ken and I are fine. People always want to find problems in things that aren't even there. Relationships aren't perfect, but we love each other and that's what matters. We're working on building a life together, and I think that's more important than any rumors people want to spread."
Ken and I had planned to go as Forrest Gump and Jenny originally, because he does like a great Forrest Gump impression. And so he got the shirt, he got the hat. Whenever we went to Bubba Gump Shrimp, he had got the hat. And so that was like the plan. And then like the night before Halloween, he's like, "Are we still dressing up?" And I'm like, "I mean, it's up to you." And he's like, "Nah, I'm good." So I'm like, okay. So the next day, we're getting ready for the day, and I did my makeup a little darker, and I had like a choker, but I didn't have a costume. Like, I wasn't wearing a costume. I just kind of did up my makeup more Halloween-y, right? And then I go in the living room, and he's like, "I thought you said we weren't dressing up." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, it is Halloween, so I guess." And so by that night, we ended up getting in our costumes. So he did go as Forrest Gump, and I didn't go with Jenny. I just wore like, I was so tired, so I wore like jewelry and then made myself up like, I don't know, an actress or something, like a Hollywood glam type of thing.
While she dismisses rumors of tension, her actions tell a different story. Public sightings like their awkward interaction at the airport suggest a lack of harmony between the two. Ken's apparent disengagement and reluctance to participate in joint appearances feed into speculations that he might be in the relationship for reasons other than love, perhaps financial gain or social status. Gypsy attempts to deflect attention with stories about Halloween costumes and shared memories feel like damage control rather than genuine affection. If everything is as fine as she claims, why do these interactions come off as so strained? Gypsy, relationships aren't perfect, but brushing off visible cracks as rumors isn't helping. Ken's behavior, whether at the airport or in other public settings, shows a level of disinterest that can't be ignored. If your relationship is strong, why not show more authenticity instead of deflecting with vague reassurances? By addressing these issues honestly, you could put the rumors to rest and demonstrate the healthier dynamic. Ignoring the tension and pretending it doesn't exist only adds fuel to the speculation that this relationship is built on shaky ground. Gypsy Rose Blanchard boldly declared during her live stream, "I feel like for most of the part I've been very classy. I might not have always been classy, but I have been trying to be classy about the situation. And I just want him to give me that same respect too. He doesn't have to, but it would be nice, because nothing screams classy quite like taking shots at your ex on a public platform while simultaneously begging for respect. The irony is almost too rich."
That's my take on it. I feel like for the most part, I've been very classy. I might not have always been classy, but I have been trying to be classy about the situation. And I just want him to give me that same respect too. He doesn't have to, but it would be nice. And I think the bigger picture here is there is a child in this situation. It's not his child, so I know that it's not his problem, but there is a child involved. And right now, me and him are acting very childish of our own. And we both need to grow the fuck up. Because it's not about him, it's not about me, it's not about Ken, it's about this baby. This baby is innocent in all of this. This baby didn't ask to be brought into the situation. So the grown-up thing to do would be for the both of us to stop this tit-for-tat game and...
First off, claiming to be classy while admitting to shooting minimal shots at Ryan is a little like saying, I only throw rocks when I am really angry. The repeated tit-for-tat exchange with Ryan might feel justified in the moment, but they completely undermine her claim to the moral high ground. First off, claiming to be classy while admitting to shooting minimal shots at Ryan is a little like saying, I only throw rocks when I am really angry. It's still throwing rocks, Gypsy. Being classy isn't about taking fewer shots. It's about not taking them at all. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's public persona is riddled with contradictions, from her handling of comments to her tattoos, her interactions with critics, and her relationship with Ken. It's clear that her actions don't align with the narrative she's trying to sell. If she wants to regain public trust, she needs to start taking responsibility, stop deflecting, stop manipulating, and start being transparent. The world is watching, and people are tired of the excuses.